Hi everyone, welcome to our latest episode of Cruise of the Week. Now, a few episodes ago, I was speaking to Mollie-Jo about her trip to Antarctica on board HX Expeditions. And today we're going to go into a little bit more detail about the ship that Mollie-Jo was on, Fridtjof Nansen. Is that how you pronounce it, Molly?
That is how you pronounce it, and it is named after the famous explorer that went to Antarctica.
Awesome, but I believe the guys at HX just call it Nansen.
Yeah, it's
Is
a
that
little
right?
bit easier, a little bit quicker.
Easier to remember, isn't it?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your trip. So overall, you went to Antarctica. I know we spoke about that in an earlier episode, but just give us a little bit of an overview of the trip, first of all.
Yeah, so it was the HX Highlights of Antarctica itinerary. Overall, we were away 2 weeks, 6 days on the actual continent, travelling around Antarctica. It was absolutely incredible. Perfect whale watching season because we were at the end of March, so just tailing off into whale watching season. Yeah, it was the best trip of my life. It really is that once in a lifetime opportunity, and if you've got the chance, you've got to do it.
And as we said in our early episode, a life-changing experience as
Most
well.
definitely.
But some of it is about the ship, of course. So
Yes.
let's talk a little bit about Nansen and what the ship had to offer. So tell me a little bit about the service on board, the food, the entertainment, the guest lectures, all of that sort of stuff. So shall we start off with great subject, food?
Food, absolutely. So there's 3 different dining options on board, which for an expedition ship is fantastic. And all 3 options were amazing. So you've got Orn, which is the main dining room, breakfast, lunch and dinner, buffet for breakfast and lunch, and then a la carte in the evening. All different types of food. They did a vegetarian night one night, so everything veggie. There's always vegan options, which is something amazing about HX. The quality of the food was immense, and our group was quite partial to a cheese board after dinner. The service was amazing. They picked up on that. Our favourite waiter, Patrick, brought out cheese every evening without us even having to ask. And then we've got Lindstrom, which is the specialty dining restaurant. So for suite guests, it's free. For all of the guests, it's €25 a head. It is so worth it. For the 5 or 6 course menu, I had duck leg the first time I went, and then we actually chose to go back a second evening because it was so good, with all the wine pairings, and it's a real treat just to be able to have that real nice sit down luxury dining experience while you're on board. And then the final one is Friedheim, which is more of a chillaxed vibe to the restaurant. So that's like your burgers, your nachos, bao buns, and that's open all day. But you can also do takeaway from there. So if you've had a busy day or you've just got back from a landing and you just fancy lunch in your cabin, you can just order it and go and grab it and take it back. But yeah, that became a favourite of the group to go there for lunch. The big table and the service on board as well just made it what it was in all the restaurants. They're just such a great bunch of staff. Yeah, they were amazing.
Great. Well, the food sounds fantastic. I mean, I can imagine going off the ship for, a large part of the day, getting hungry, coming back on board, and it's not just any food. It sounds like it was really, really good food. And it also sounds like you were looked after. Any great examples of good customer service on board?
Yeah, I think Patrick is definitely a perfect example. He got to know everybody in our group by name. And there was a standout moment for me. I quite like a Diet Coke, and after we'd been on landings, that's what I ordered. And there was one day when Patrick actually came on a landing with us, and as we were hiking up the harbour, he looked at me and he went, "Molly, do you want a Diet Coke?" And it's just little things like that that make it just that personalised service that they really do care and they take an interest in all the guests. Yeah, it was really special.
Right, amazing. No, it is those little touches that make a big difference, aren't they? And then obviously, with you going to Antarctica, it's great to see, all of these fantastic sights, the landscape, the different animals and the whales, etc. But in preparation for that, there's a lot of work that goes on board of educating you and just making sure you're ready to experience everything you're going to see. So talk to me a little bit about that when you were going across the Drake Passage. What was there for you to learn, and during the voyage as well?
Yeah, so there's plenty of different areas on board where you can really immerse yourself and learn. So this is the Science Centre. You've got microscopes where when you actually get to Antarctica, you can take different plankton samples and look at those. But while we're in the Drake's Passage, we had different lectures. So from like the Antarctic Treaty, how to act when you are on the continent, act around the penguins, because humans aren't the first and most important thing when you get to Antarctica. If you're looking after the animals, that's what's important. The expedition team are so knowledgeable in all their fields that you can go and ask a question at any time. The lectures are all streamed to cabins, so on the Drake's Passage, if it was to be rough, you can watch them all in there, learn about your destination. They've got a lecture hall, so they run throughout the day. So if you've got a little space in between going for lunch and getting on your next Zodiac tour, you can go and learn about the penguins, the different types of whales. There is every opportunity, if you want to learn as much as you can about the destination, which makes it so much more than just a trip to see Antarctica. You really are learning about that destination. It's a true expedition then.
Amazing. So to summarise, Nansen's a fantastic place to see Antarctica from.
Yes.
You get prepared on the way over. You have recaps during your voyage of what you've seen, and you can go into more detail, like you say, in the science lab. And you're really looked after from a personal point of view, and the food sounds great as well.
Yes. Yeah, it was all amazing. No complaints. And for an expedition ship, sometimes people have got preconceptions of what they might be like, but everything on board was just perfect for this voyage. It was truly amazing, from the gym where you could spend a couple of hours if you had an afternoon while we were sailing to another port, or just taking a dip in the sauna and on the hot tub. It was truly just fantastic. Everything we could have wanted was available on board for us.
Sounds absolutely amazing, Molly. Thanks very much for joining me. It's been great to have you.
Thank you for having me.